All right, let's return now to the breakdown in the coalition. It's been a nightmare couple of days for the centre-right parties, but there now might be a bit of hope with the news this afternoon that the split is on pause and that talks will resume between the two party leaders. Well, one of those leaders joins me now, Nationals leader David Littleproud. Welcome. So help us out here, because I think my audience and coalition supporters around the country have watched this unfold. What changed today, David, to put the split on hold?
Yeah, well, I got a text out of the blue early this morning from Sussan to come around to her office and have a conversation. And I went and had a conversation with her, and she made it clear that she would pause announcing a shadow cabinet from the Liberal Party, and I actually was in a meeting with those that I was proposing to make spokesperson in our part, in the National Party, and she presented to me the fact that she'd pause that, but what she would do is call a party room meeting of the Liberal Party to discuss those four policy areas that she couldn't give us a guarantee on before Tuesday, when we unfortunately had to get to the juncture that we couldn't stay in the coalition. Now, we had to get to that because by convention, normally after every election, policies remain on the table until they're excluded by exception. What Sussan Lee made a decision to change that around, and while I accepted that, I just asked for those four to remain, to give us certainty around them, because they were important to our party room. Sussan couldn't give us that guarantee, and so our room got to the position that we couldn't stay in the coalition because it was going to take many, many months for them to determine, and there was no guarantee at the end of it that those policies would remain.
Yeah, what struck me as bizarre from day one really was the haste here. I know that she'd set Thursday today to announce a shadow ministry, but the Parliament doesn't come back until late July. I mean, that's 8 weeks away. I couldn't see why you wouldn't have both parties put more time into the negotiation, even if it took you 1 week or 4 weeks. I don't think it particularly matters. I mean, the point is to get it right.
Yeah, and we were comfortable in that. And in fact, to give you a timeline, Sussan rang me on the Wednesday after she was elected on the Tuesday. She met with her Thursday morning, and she gave me what she believed she could accept, and that was around those policy areas not being adopted. I took it to my party room on a Friday, made it clear, and that my party room gave me a clear direction that was not acceptable, and that if we couldn't get agreement, that we may have to walk away. I gave that to Sussan. Sadly, on the Saturday, her mother died. We stayed away, and in fact we made it clear, and my office reached out. I personally reached out to Sussan to give sympathy, but my office reached out to hers to say, look, we can put everything on pause. I think it was on the Sunday we got a message back, no, we want to continue on because we want to announce a shadow cabinet at some point, so we want to start these negotiations again as soon as possible. And so we asked for clarification around that comfort around those four areas, and I made it clear that I'd take it to a party room meeting for my members to decide. I don't determine it unilaterally, and made it very clear that this is serious, but if those were the timelines, I would have to have my party room determine it, and we did on a Tuesday, predicated on the timelines that were given to us.
Yeah, interestingly, you know, there was a debate for a couple of days about you wanting basically licence not to abide by cabinet solidarity. What do you say to that?
No, what that was about was, as you've been in many of these discussions, there's a wide range of asks from both sides, and sad that these have been leaked. I mean, it's disappointing because normally these are done in good faith. This was around the fact that what I wanted to do was make sure there was a process, particularly in things of issue to one party or another, where we found in the Voice, and I felt I'd let Peta down by the fact that our party room got to the no decision on the Voice before he had, and I think it damaged our relationship for a little while. We rebuilt, and I didn't want to do that. So I asked, was there a way that we could consider any model that we could get comfort around, so that sort of process could be accepted. Sussan gave me back a set of words that I felt comfortable with and accepted, and it wasn't an issue for the party room to discuss, because the only issue that on the Friday that were issues for our party room were those four policy areas, and that was all that was taken to the party room. And I expressed verbatim what Sussan gave me in terms of guarantee to the party room, and they made a determination on that on Tuesday.
So let me be really clear. Going back to my past history where the Nats had a licence on the issue of the single desk on wheat, for example, where they stood aside from the shadow cabinet solidarity on that point. The Nats were very much their own party. The Liberals had a different position. It didn't break the coalition at all. Is that the sort of thing you were looking for? A reasonable response if something comes up in an ad hoc way? You were not asking, as some allege, for carte blanche right across the board not to hold to shadow cabinet solidarity.
That's exactly right, and whether there was a process that we could come together on. Sussan made it clear that she wasn't prepared to do that, but I accepted it. I mean, it wasn't a die in the ditch moment for me. I'm a coalitionist, and I've worked in a couple now, and I was prepared to accept that because the main issue I wanted my party room to focus on, and my party room didn't even know that I'd asked for that as consideration. As you know, it's just so disappointing that this is out in the media because these were confidential negotiations that I thought we could try and alleviate the voice situation I had with Peta between ourselves so that we kept our leadership relationship on track. It wasn't an issue for the party room, so it wasn't taken to the party room. The only thing that was taken to the party room ever were those 4 policy areas that were told to me on the Friday were the issues that needed to be rectified. Otherwise, there were serious consequences for the coalition.
Well, clearly the most controversial, I guess, with moderate Liberals will be nuclear power. The other 3 pertain to I think, long-standing regional-related issues. But nuclear power, are you locked into the policy as it was that you took to the election, or are you open to varying some level of support for nuclear power, if not exactly what was there a couple of weeks ago in the electorate?
Yeah, we've been very clear, even straight after the election, we're very pragmatic, even on Sky, a number of occasions and other interviews I've done, that we will be pragmatic. We lost the election because of the $600 billion lie that Anthony Albanese was able to perpetrate, and we weren't able to stop, and that's our fault. The Nats and the Libs have to reflect on that and understand we were outdone on that. But we are pragmatic. We want a technology agnostic approach, but we can't go down an all renewables approach. That is what's destroying regional Australia. So we're technology agnostic, and so long as that conversation and the moratorium or whatever, we are pragmatic and very open to work with the Liberal Party on that, as I did with Peta previously, and I think we got to a good outcome, and it's something the nation is going to have to face up to because the fundamentals haven't changed. It's going to catch up with Anthony Albanese at some point in the coming couple of years. Jason
Falinski said today that there's never been policy inside a coalition agreement. I don't know how many he's seen. I've seen 3. There's always been policy inside these coalition agreements. Was that a surprise to you? I mean, it's not unusual that there's some sort of policy parameter in these agreements, is it?
Exactly. Well, I've seen them as well. So, but look, I'll let others commentate from the side. As you've been inside it, and I know from your processes, you've respected those processes and the confidentiality of them. I'm doing the same, but I have seen them before, and I think it's important that we do have that because you have clarity that way. You make sure the relationship is set and it's on sound foundations, and that's what we wanted to achieve from the start. And I was set a timeline. I had to respect it, but our party room couldn't get comfort with it. These are important topics to us.
David Littleproud, I'll leave it there, and good luck for the days, let's hope not weeks ahead, in this negotiation.
Thanks for having me.